Hey, how you doing? It's Clayton Tini from the First Home Buyer Club. 100 lessons in 100 days, day 40, lesson 40. Today, what I wanted to talk about was the misconceptions people have when building their own home or their new home. So, one, that these days builders use cheaper and inferior materials. Look, that's not the truth at all. Like back in the day, they might have used different products. It's no stronger than what it is now. They're still, when they build homes, they still got to be at a certain level, and you're definitely not going to get a home that's just going to fall over these days. The second misconception, they only build in new areas. Look, you can build a home wherever there's land available, right? Sometimes you've got infill blocks close to the city. Other times you've got blocks on acreage outside of the city and anywhere in between. The other thing that you can do as well, especially in the inner city suburbs, is when you find a really old and run-down house, but you love the location, you can knock it down and rebuild a new one. Point number three, there's always going to be hidden costs associated with building a new home. Now, that's not always correct, right? Now, let's be honest. There's going to be times if you don't understand what you're rushing yourself into and you buy a contract that's one like a cost plus contract, or you bought a contract with one of the bigger builders where they don't include things like landscaping and turfing and fencing and driveways. Yes, there are going to be other costs associated with buying. However, if you buy a fixed price full turnkey home, all those things should be covered in that initial price on the contract, so you won't get hit with those extra fees itself. What happens if the builder goes bankrupt? We'll lose everything because we would have paid. Well, again, that's not correct. What happens with a new home is you build at the stages as such as they start building. So you don't pay for 100% of the home up front. You'll pay 5% for the initial deposit. They'll then commence, and then you pay after they do the work. So they pour the base, you get invoiced for it, you pay it. They put up the frame, you get invoiced, and then you pay it. They lock up or enclose. We've got the roof, walls, doors, windows, ceiling, or the roof on top. Then you pay for it. So you do the work, or they do the work, then you get paid. They do the work, then they get paid. It's like that. So the other thing is, if for some unknown reason you chose a builder that did go bankrupt during the period in which you're building, and touch wood that it never happens to you, there's always a QBCC that you can go to, which is covered in the insurance, that then they'll allocate to another builder to complete the work, and it will be to the same spec as you already agreed upon. So you don't have to worry about only getting a half built house and then it's just left like that. You need to see it first before you build, because otherwise you don't know what you're getting. That's not correct, because there's always house plans. It will show the exact measurements and dimensions of every room, etc. So you can work through that. And especially with all our clients, we produce 3D, not only renders, but videos for you to completely walk through our homes, because most of our homes we've now videoed, or a lot of our homes we've now videoed, so you can get a feeling for the entire house before it's even built. The builders will rip you off, or they may swap out materials or items partway through a build. That's not correct. You never have to worry about the builder not building the entire house, or missing a bedroom, or swapping inclusions partway through. And if they did, for some reason, you swapped it out, you've got a contract with the exacts of what you're getting, and you could go to them and go, hey, you were meant to put this in and you didn't, you put something else. And if you don't get the result you wanted through them, you can go again back to QBCC, and they're like the big brother, and they'll step in and see what's going on and rule in your favor. Choices with designs and inclusions, you don't often get to choose it properly with building a new home, and as a result, you're not going to get what you want. That's the furthest thing from the truth ever, because the beauty about building your own home is you can build it exactly how you imagine, right? So as long as you can afford it, it's inside your budget, and it actually fits on the block. You can't put a 12-meter wide home on a 10-meter wide block. It just doesn't fit, right? But as long as it can fit on the block and it can fit inside your budget, we can build it exactly how you want. Master bedroom, the front or the rear, walk-in robes, walk-in, kitchens with a butler's pantry. We can do it all. You just need to talk about it and communicate exactly what you want. And the last one where I've noticed a massive one lately is construction times. I've heard the construction times are going to take anywhere between 6 to 12 months. Really, I'm not saying that not all builders do this, right? There are some out there that probably aren't in a position to be able to do a faster, safer build, and it does take longer, or their budget doesn't allow it. But generally, especially with the First Home Buyer Club, we're in a position where our clients are having their houses built anywhere in, say, around 14 to 16 weeks. If we do have a good run on that, obviously we get it a little bit quicker. The only thing, and especially at this time of the year, that will affect that is Christmas, because everyone shuts down over that Christmas period. But apart from that, there should be no major issues that are going to slow it down, apart from the weather, right? We can't help what God does up there. So if he decides to flood Brisbane, then, obviously we've got to put things on hold while the rain's there. All right, 6 must-dos that you should do if you're about to build your own home. The first one is don't fall for that salesperson's tactic of, if you deposit today, we'll give you this, right? If they're prepared to say it today, they're still prepared to say it tomorrow, right? Don't get in that panic of throwing money down before you understand what you're getting yourself into. The second bit into that, which I only just thought about now while I'm talking about it, is be wary of a lot of those bigger builders where they will try and charge you a fee up front just to lock you in. Because the thing is, if you can't get finance, you've paid thousands of dollars to get soil testing and survey plans and working drawings drawn up for that block of land that you're hoping to buy. And for what? You're not going to buy it, right? I would very much urge you, again, if you're not working with us at the First Home Buyer Club, to make sure that you speak to the right people, the mortgage brokers or the banks direct, and make sure you're in a position that you can actually purchase that home, and you're not just hoping it's going to happen because that young kid has promised you in a display home or over the phone that it's going to happen. Understand the plans. So here's what I mean by that. You need to look at the house plans and actually understand them for yourself. Now, if you can't understand them, get the person that you're dealing with, if it's not us, to talk you through how big are the rooms, what happens when you walk in, where do the windows open, is that a big window, is that a little window, what's the materials you're using, what happens when this opens, and all the rest, so that you know 100% what you're actually getting before you get into it. Third thing is ask more questions, right? Don't get to the point of just thinking, oh, she'll be right, or, I'm sure they know what's going on. If you don't understand a question in regards to building your home or buying a home or the block of land, or you're just curious about something, ask the question. It doesn't matter how silly it is, because at least then you'll know, right? With anything in life, you need to understand what you're doing. And the easiest way to do it is speak to someone, if it's not one of the property coaches at First Home Buyer Club, in regards to what you need to know to feel confident with your decisions. The next point is really relax, right? Especially when it comes through the build process. There is a process along the way. Don't just panic the whole way through because you can't see the picture, right? So here's a good example of what I mean. Like sometimes you might walk inside, and it's funny, the frame stage gets a lot of people. You walk inside your house during the frame stage and you just stress out because you think to yourself, man, nothing's going to fit in this house. I always say do the lay down test, but especially the frame stage where it's still all crap on the ground and it's really dirty, I wouldn't suggest it. But the lay down test, when you lay down in a room and you put your hands out and you can understand yourself, okay, well, if this fits me, and then you can picture things that you know around it, right? Or otherwise, you just get out the tape measure and start measuring things up to understand. The other thing on that with the measuring is actually make sure that you know how big your furniture is, because the last thing you want to do is go, oh, no, I couldn't. It won't fit in there. My furniture is at least 4 meters long, when you find out your couch is really only 3 meters long. Next point, and while we're talking about furniture, don't buy the furniture before you get in. A lot of you are going to want to buy new furniture for the home. That's great, but either work out off the working drawings, how big the furniture is or where it fits, or more importantly, wait until you get into the house, because then you're not having to transfer the furniture from your old house back to your new house. Next point, picture yourself in the house. What I mean by that is really lay yourself out in the house itself. Understand, where am I going to set up the TV? Where am I going to set up the couch? Where am I going to set up the dining table? Make sure it lines up and it's right, and you put the PowerPoints in the right position. And if they're not in the right position, ask to move them or add extras in to ensure that when you get in the house, it's actually perfect for you, right? And the last thing what I want to talk about is make sure you see where it works best, right? And we talk about the furniture and all the rest, but make that decision and then ask the questions and then see, based off the working drawings, if that is the right way to look at it and if it's the right way to locate your furniture. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a good night. Tomorrow night, what I'm going to talk about is the display home traps. We get a lot of conversations with clients and get a lot of calls in regards to the $100,000 of free upgrades, or they're doing this or they're doing that, or more importantly, if you walk through a display home, the price on that little tag at the front is never the price of that house. Those skylights and the rake ceilings and all those fancy things that are in there are put in there to get you really enticed in that home. That 100-inch plasma TV that's in the lounge room, it's not included. It looks good, but then it makes you have decisions that are not in your best interest. All right, guys, have a good night. Talk to you later. Bye.